Hey guys, Crazy G-Man here, and it is November 12th, and Sea Power has finally released. I have been getting into naval combat more and more here in the last, I'd say about 2 years. I started playing U-Boat, I think a year and a half ago. I was really happy when it was fully released a few months back. And I have played Cold Waters a bunch, including the various different mods. I do play the dot mod a fair bit. More so once I found out that Sea Power was going to be released. I tried to brush up on my sub combat. I am really excited though for the ability here in this game to control multiple vessels and really get into the surface vessels a lot. You could do that in a lot of the mods for Cold Waters, but of course you can only ever control one ship, where here you can control task force fleets, whatever you kind of desire. So that is very, very welcomed and exciting for us to now have that aspect, and also to do carrier ops. But for right now, I'm just going to keep things fairly simple, and I'm going to kind of stick in my comfort zone, which is sub combat. Although we are going to go against some surface vessels, so I'm just going to show a mission I just quickly made and I've played through now a couple of times, where I take out my favorite submarine, which is the Alpha class submarine for the Soviet forces. So in this mission, it's fairly straightforward. I am just going to take K-373, which is an Alpha class submarine. And I won't go too much into the history of the Alpha. There's a lot of knowledge. You can just go on Wikipedia and or see various different YouTube videos to go into the details of the Alpha class sub. It is my favorite. I like it because it's a very small, fast. It is basically the MiG-21 of submarines, which is kind of the concept for it. It was a nuclear, and sorry, it was and is in this game a nuclear-powered attack submarine, designed to attack enemy submarines and enemy shipping. The idea behind it was to basically create a very small automated sub that could quickly move to a target area, intercept the vessels in that area, and from there quickly then return to home base, refuel, rearm, and just basically work as a rapid response vessel. They basically worked as a alone most of the time, just because they didn't make a ton of them. They only made like half a dozen or so, maybe a little more. I think maybe 7. I can't remember off the top of my head. But so they were faster than any other submarines in the Soviet Navy by a substantial margin. So oftentimes they weren't working in direct proximity necessarily to other vessels. They would basically be there to kind of like rapidly respond and deal with a threat, or come from like an unexpected direction rapidly, and then kind of cause, basically engage very quickly, run off very quickly, and yeah, that was kind of the style that they went for. There's not, so I find in Cold Waters, like, you do kind of use them a little bit more aggressively. They are still a submarine, so you are still going to be stealthy when using it as much as you can, but the idea is like you do try to get in as close as you can, but not too close. Fire off a spread of torpedoes and then basically book it to another area so that you dodge any return fire. And then if you haven't already used up all of your torpedoes, because as you can see we only have 12 torpedoes, 6 surface wake combing torpedoes, the 53-65K, and 6 Set 65 anti-submarine torpedoes that only work against submarines, although you can use them against surface ships if you fire from periscope depth and just basically like straight fire them, but they won't home in on anything. But they will, you can hit stuff with them. I have tried it and they do work, though they don't seem to set any surface ships on fire, probably because they're meant to hit submarines, and submarines don't catch fire when they're underwater, of course, at least not on the outside. Anyway, so in this mission we're basically here to intercept this small convoy, which is basically, as you can see, we already have a Ticonderoga here, and right now I do have, for cinematic purposes, I do have the options. We are playing fair difficulty. And I do have the hide unidentified in 3D option turned off so we can see everything. Just kind of, you know, makes it a little less challenging, obviously, but it's nicer for video purposes. So if I turn that on, option on, basically would hide anything that my submarine hasn't already detected. But, well, as I said, we are going to leave that option turned off. And this way we can see basically, well, we can see the choppers coming out to do their... I haven't really programmed a whole lot in this. Like I said, it's just very simple mission just to kind of like learn the controls, get familiar with everything. So we're going to go talk through it kind of roughly. And I'll move K373 here to kind of get into kind of attack position a little bit. So currently they're 14.45 nautical miles away. And we're just going to... Actually, we're going to descend. We know where they are roughly. But I'm in the shallows right now, and so I don't want... I can hear them already using active sonar to try to detect me. The Alpha is not the most stealthy sub, though it can be quiet well enough at slow speeds. Definitely when it starts to get moving up to its top speed of, I believe, 41 knots. There's a little bit, I think, of, depending what sources you use, some people say 39 or 41 if they like really like work the engines very hard. The engines, the nuclear reactor on this thing is very unique. It's a lead bismuth, a liquid metal cooled reactor, which had the advantages of being very compact and also being able to allow the reactor to come up to temperature very rapidly compared to like a traditional water-cooled reactor. But it had some drawbacks in that if you let the reactor cool for too long, and to too low a temperature, it would basically brick itself. And I think a couple of Alpha class submarines actually did have that happen, where they basically had the reactor basically have the coolant solidify around the reactor, and they weren't able to easily repair it, and they basically sat around not being able to be used. But the advantage with it was that you could put a very powerful reactor in a very small submarine. This submarine was crewed really only with, I believe, 40 officers, and like and they all basically did it for like one centralized compartment. Everything else was automated, like the torpedoes were auto-loaded. The reactor, I believe, was pretty much could be controlled just from the main control room. But obviously all this automation made it a maintenance nightmare in some cases, so they only made, I think, 7. It's also a titanium hull, which was very unique at the time, but also complicated things in terms of maintenance and just building them entirely. But anyway, let's get going here. So I might speed up time a little bit. So I have these noise. We can get the information. So obviously we detect this at Ticonderoga. This one I have, it's a Nox. We can see it actually over here if I cheat. Oh. Why not let me cheat? Interesting. And then there it goes. Yeah, and there's a Belknap, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which I'm probably not. I apologize if I'm not. Belknap, right? Someone will correct me in the comments. Please do. I am still learning. And then we have the Nox anti-submarine frigate. And of course the Ticonderoga. And we of course have our main target, this large oil tanker. So these ships aren't going to do anything fancy. They are basically doing an escort patrol. So they are looking for targets. They are using active, you can hear, active sonar to try to find me. Right now I'm pretty low, so let's speed things up a little bit. Let's go to a head standard. This will bring me up to 15 knots. Let's bring this dead. Let's go deep. Just to... I am now presenting the wider cross-section of my submarine to the active sonar, so that will make me easier to detect, and of course I am going to go faster. If I go deeper, it might be a little bit harder for the sonar to get an accurate reading of where I am. Unlike in cold waters, there is no like. You don't really get from sonar, I find, a position that is changing as you have like a rough prediction of where the target is. You just have a, oh, we heard something there, but it's no longer there, or we now know that there's a noise coming from there. So there's a little less, at the moment at least, guesswork when you're firing a shot. But it is also sometimes a little bit harder to like pick up a target because you actually need to make sure that you can hear them, so to speak. So let's speed up time a little bit. Now we're in deep. We're at 730 feet. I just love the lines on this. I'm just going to slow things down a bit just to kind of take a look at the submarine. I just always love lenses. Now I'm going to try to set this up as I understand how kind of the attacks on the Alpha class sub would work, where basically you would go in, fire a spread of torpedoes, and basically retreat to dodge any return fire. Also, just to keep this video kind of short, I'm going to just try to do this in one attack and then basically retreat, with the idea that any leftover torpedoes are going to be used in case I need to do some self-defense on the way back to my home base. That's just the story I'm running with on this scenario. So let's speed things up again. Go. You know what? Let's go actually all the way to the course, or come back around, just so I'm set up pretty well. I'm not sure where those helicopters are. I did see them before. I quickly raise to periscope depth here, just to kind of see how things are. We're gonna. Oh well, that turned me around pretty quick. Let's slow down to head 1/3, and let's go. Let's bring it out all the way up to periscope depth. I just love the little details they have. I mean, they had that too in cold waters where they had the dive planes moving a bit, but I find here in Sea Power, it's just a lot. It's just the detail you get from like the torpedo tubes opening and firing off. It's just really nice. And not to mention like the missiles firing, that never gets old. Same with the torpedoes, never gets old watching them fire off. Alright, let's bring it up. Okay, here we go. Slow down. The layer's at 317, so as soon as I cross that layer, I should then be able to pick them up with my passive sonar, and I should unpause the game if I want that to happen. There we go. Okay. Ooh. I was hoping they were going to be more across my nose at this point. But, like I said, I'm going to try to do this quick. I will just paint towards them. We're still going to rise to periscope depth here. It's kind of risky at this short range. I'm only at 6 nautical miles. So if I get my surface torpedoes ready... I don't have a ton of room to work with, but yeah, we'll do this. That way also when they fire, they should intersect them fairly straight on. And I'm not trying to run them down, and then the torpedoes run out of fuel before they get to them. So I'll just get this done. Alright, so go from silent running and put up the ESM rest to detect any radar communications. Let's see what we got there. Okay, so we have all the helicopters that are way out, nowhere close by. We'll then quickly retract that. Let's see if we can give anything with the periscope. Very quickly. We don't want it to hang around for very long. There we go. And we've got everything. And periscope descending. There we go. Okay, so let's fire our torpedoes here. So let's go for the merchant. We definitely want to go for that first. Go for the Nox. And for the Ticonderoga. Nice. Let's get that. That's cool. Like I said, never gets old. Okay, but now let's do what we were supposed to do and book it out of here. Now I'm gonna go very deep. Now the idea is like I'm not gonna really sit and raid around to see my work. I am going to get out of there as fast as I can, though I don't want to go fast too quickly, which is also why I don't want to get too close. I want to get some time before they detect my torpedoes and return fire until I can get deep enough so I can go fast, so I don't automatically reveal my position by cavitating. I haven't tested to see whether you can actually cavitate in this game yet. I assume so, but I'm not sure. I haven't tested it. So I'm just going to assume that it's going to be like in cold waters where you can cavitate if I try to go too quickly at too shallow a depth. So we're just going to try to descend. Once I get below maybe 150 feet, I'll go move up to 2/3 ahead. Ahead 2/3. Yeah, I think we can do that. Let's do that now. And I'll slowly progress my speed as I get deeper and deeper and deeper. And the idea is I want to get as far away from this vector, because when they see where my torpedoes are going to automatically fire along this vector, unless they detect me. But at this range, I should be good. We'll see. Okay, we're now at 210. I can bring that up to a head standard. I find it's funny because like a head standard is 15, a head full is 20, and then a head flank is 41, which is like, well, a head full could have been like 25 or something like that. It's like, meet me a little in the middle. It's like, no, it's like 20 or 41. That's it. Nothing in between. So of course I lose contact with them as I basically turn them, put them in my baffles, and as I descend deeper below the layer. I think in that case so that was the layer, because I don't have them in my baffles just yet. I'm just turning. But now we can really crank it up. We're going to go all to head flank and really get her moving. And you'll just see how rapidly this thing will descend. As the dive planes move her down, and that screw starts to really, as that lead bismuth reactor comes up to full power, and we are really moving now. 30 knots, 31, and we'll get all the way to 41 knots. So our torpedoes are on the way. We are diving deep, 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 deep. Look at that. I'm not saying it's sped up. That's just me. And we just rapidly level up. Just that's how fast the Alpha, when it gets up to speed, can go. I will move. I'll move at a right angle now for a little bit longer, and we'll see how that does. Like I said, I don't want this video to drag out too long, so we're just gonna probably do one attack. Maybe I'll do a follow-up attack real quick. I think we can slow this down to a head full, and I'll bring it up to deep. So see how these torpedoes are doing as they move about. That should be good. There we go. Now, fairly soon, they're going to soon pick up these torpedoes, and you're probably going to see some return fire as they launch some missile launch torpedoes along my vector, where those torpedoes came from. So not my current vector, but basically along the path here, which at that point should basically be far enough away from my actual submarine that it won't matter. And K-373 will hopefully kill a couple targets and then be able to retreat and then live to fight another day. Let's see how this works here. Let's just zoom out. Not sure what the helicopters are doing. They're not really doing much right now. They're kind of way off in the middle of nowhere. I wonder how you can set it up so that you can kind of have them like surround the four corners of the convoy. In reality, you probably only have a couple, and they would have had them already launched, rather than they launched them as soon as the mission started. All right. Well, no return fire yet. I want to speed things up until let's see. No, he doesn't see anything. No. Nox is not return firing anything. Everyone's going pretty slow though. That Nox is going very slow. Probably trying to find me. The Ticonderoga is still blissfully unaware. That's great. I'm happy for that. We'll see how long that lasts. Oh, there it goes. There they go. And let's see what the Nox does. Alright, so they are now trying to evade my torpedoes. I should be fine. I'm not going to really change course right now. I'm still good. Still good and deep, still pretty... They're now kind of going to be booking it, so they're not going to have as effective ability to find me with sonar as they're trying to... Well, he's not moving at all. He's moving at 5 knots, but he's not really in a hurry. The Ticonderoga knows that bad things are happening and is doing whatever he can. Yeah, so let's see. Any of these are going to turn towards him. There it goes. Yep, that's the ones. The other's moving over. This one's locked onto the Ticonderoga. So I guess it does, like, obviously their position of the ships wasn't exact because it was based on where I last saw them. Oh, I had to get a toss out to do. I think it's far enough away. It's definitely closer than I like, but I think it's still, I think it's going to turn. It should be fine. We'll find out. I'm not going to change. And that's going to hit. Nice. Oh, nice. Good. Nice on fire, that's what I like to see. Not sure what he's... Oh, I'll go for the Nox, but the Nox evaded it, so that torpedo's going to miss. This one I think is still headed towards where it's out, and that's going to intersect the Belknap. It's good. That torpedo is... Yeah, it's just out of range. It's going to kind of do a slow, lazy circle from there. So as long as I stay on this course, I should be fine. So we're going to watch the rest of that. He's dropping a noisemaker to try to fool my wake-warming torpedo, which sadly is not super effective because it doesn't really care. I mean, it cares a little bit, it seems like, because I have seen them hit it, but it doesn't really, like, actually do a lot for causing it to go after it. There, this guy is turning. Yeah, he's going to turn towards the Belknap. And this guy's going to head right for the tanker. This one, but never crossed the Belknap's wake, so it's just going to move on forever. So that's basically lost, but 3 out of 4 is pretty good. Let's see, let's take out the tanker. Well, take out. It's a big tanker. I might need another torpedo, quite honestly. There it goes. Please catch fire. Nope. Did not catch fire. Oh, and It's still chasing that. Let's see how that Ticonderoga is doing. It's nice and burning and crispy. How's that torpedo going? Yeah, it's making its way around. I wonder if it could... Well, I can't see any of the targets right now. My torpedoes can, but... There we go. Still no lifeboats though, so I've seen you can still put it out. I don't know if it's going to be moving again, but we'll see. It's about to be the end of that. There we go. Oh, but no fire on this one. But she is got a nasty big hole in her though. As mentioned, that's not going to do anything, that torpedo. Okay, so even now, this would be like pretty good. I've like done some pretty severe damage. I might try to quickly... We're going to come up. Go to one. We're going to go to above the layer. Do one last attack, and then I'm going to basically book it. And whatever sticks, sticks. So let's go speed things up. We'll only go to 10 times speed because I got that torpedo there. I think I should still be able to stay out of the range of it. There's the other torpedo. Yeah, they're basically trying to figure out roughly where I came from. So I'm still going to have the same problem as before. I'm going to have to shoot and scoot. Let's go up to... There we go. Okay. I have to go to periscope depth on this one again. Let's go back up to periscope depth then. Real easy. Okay. Oh, unless I get it. Let's make a noise. Burning, but still up and running.
Потерян контакт с целью. Потерян контакт с целью.
Still there. That Belknap seems to still be mostly fire. Whoa. Yeah, we're all good. We're alright. It's just waist deep. We're good. Okay. Let's try to get that tanker though. That's the main goal. Gotta speed things up just to get to the depth. There we go. And periscope.
Поднять перископ. Потерян контакт с целью.
There we go. Okay.
Опустить перископ.
Okay, it's got 0, so we're gonna go for that. We're just gonna go fire at both torpedoes and try to sink that.
Потерян контакт.
Now, it doesn't have any wake, so I'm gonna have to be very precise with it. If it stays still, that should be fine, though. So we're gonna go right after it. Yeah, let's go for that. We want the tanker dead.
Вас понял. Атакую цель. Вас понял. Пуск! 7019.
There we go. Okay.
Потерян контакт с целью.
And same as before. Let's get out of
Вас
here.
понял. Курс 243.
Depth very deep.
И занять глубину 1120.
Oh, attacking Ticonderoga is now basically a lost cause. They have abandoned ship, so it is now sinking. Malnaps, of course, the listing, and the Knox is, of course, just doing its thing. Whatever that is. Alright. Alright, and K373 is descending. Let's go speed things up a bit. Let's go to head 2/3. Head standard. And a head flank. There we go. Okay, there we go. And let's still speed things up again. See how those torpedoes are doing. We're basically just getting out of here.
Вас понял. Курс 276.
Okay, let's take a look at the torpedo. We're gonna go real fast for this. Uh-oh, is that thing moving again? It is, but I think the wake-overing torpedoes will still be able to lock onto it then. That is actually, might actually work out more favorably for me, but depends where it is when they activate to start doing the wake-homing, so here's hoping. Let's go, let's find out. We're gonna watch it. Go either way. Well, it should be going for it right now, but well, yeah, they are. There they are. So it is doing what I want it to do, at least for one of them. Okay, they're both going for it. Good, good, good. Take that out and call this mission a success. There we go. And come on, set it on fire. Get the fire. No fire, but maybe that's enough. Oh, there it goes. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, and there goes the return fire, as expected. But I should be nowhere near that. I'm booking it all the way to Iceland.
Вас понял. Курс 343.
Let's make sure my return fire doesn't have anything bad happen. Oh. Yeah, 9 nautical miles, 7 nautical miles, so it's fine. We are more than fine. We are nowhere near it. Okay, we're good. Let's go back to periscope depth really quick.
Есть занять глубину. 35. Есть самый малый вперед. Потерян контакт с целью. Потерян контакт с целью.
Okay, let's see. We'll go to periscope depth, see what the result of that is, and then we'll leave.
Новые контакты.
Okay. And just to do this fast. Only 2 noise contacts, so that's good. Let's go and quickly put the ESM on. Let's see what we got there.
Новые контакты.
Okay, and then we're gonna go.
Опустить мачту радио, поднять перископ. Потерян контакт с целью.
It might be too far away. Well, maybe not.
7027. Потерян контакт с целью.
And it looks like the tanker's dead. Looks like I did sink it. Nice. So, that was awesome. Alright, we're gonna... I should really not be sticking my periscope up for that long. Withdraw it. And let's go... Let's move more north.
Вас понял. Курс 300.
Oh, that was very successful. Alright, so... Did get the tanker. We also sunk a Ticonderoga, and we damaged the Belknap, so... All in all, for a little Alpha class sub with only 6 torpedoes for surface vessels, that was pretty good. Let's descend below the layer and slowly make our way out of here. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll just do the after action report and we'll put it as exit. And we have a decisive victory where we did destroy the super tanker, and we did destroy the Ticonderoga and damaged Foxy G33. So hope you guys liked that video. I plan to do some surface combat here in the next little bit, and I'll see you then.